Okay, so Legend and Mist is about to release their first setting book, and I want to take this opportunity to highlight how my group had adapted the setting for our home game because we continued the adventure that was in the Tinderbox past its end during a time where there wasn't much information about the canon version of the Dales. So I had to invent a lot of ideas. So I'm putting this out now so that when the book comes out, there's a chance to like compare and contrast how I establish things versus how the canon book does. So let's get into that. Let's talk about the society. So I wanted to avoid establishing like a strict hierarchy. So I established three roles that exist in each of the Dales, and they weren't meant to be treated as authorities, but rather people who have a responsibility to their community. Each Dale has a red marshal. This is a person who is responsible for ensuring peace. Like they protect their Dale from physical threats like wild animals or violent incidents. Next is the overseer. This person is responsible for the delegation of tasks and resources. So they would decide like, okay, what materials do we keep for this season? What are we willing to trade with other Dales? And they would have an idea of the skill set of the individuals within their Dale. That way they could mobilize persons to help in different areas and things like that. Next is the wise one. This person is responsible for passing down traditions between generations, and they are like a local mage. I'll explain more of that in the magic section, but they're the only person allowed to learn and practice magic. The general public is known as apple pickers because they do the labor that keeps this entire ecosystem afloat, from literally harvesting and cultivating crops to construction work and all that things. They aren't seen as lesser than the first three roles. They just, they have a wider, it's a larger part of the population, and they have a more diverse collection of responsibilities. Okay, let's talk about like the magic and mysteries of these settings. So, foundation information. I'm a big fan of the trope of like ambient magic, where the entire universe is made of a magical material and spells work by manipulating that unseen material. I named that material light for the Dales, and all magic works by instructing the light within your target to like change in some way. So if you have a spell to create fire, you're basically pointing at a location and commanding the light there to become fire. The magic of the wise ones require them to carefully and intentionally craft objects, and these are tightly guarded secrets because they do not want the entire population knowing how to recreate these practices. This is to protect the people of the Dales, because here's a portion of their history that is kept secret. Spoilers for people who play this game with me. In the age before the Dales was established, mages made a larger portion of the world's population. However, their pursuit in acquiring greater magical feats cost them their humanity. They became more predatory upon weaker mages and non-mages. Like, imagine if, as you amass greater magical ability, you become a creature akin to a fae or aberration. So, what had to be done? A group of benevolent mages established a barrier to keep the malicious mages out. They also worked to seal the malicious mages who were within the barrier within shrines. As generations passed, the memory of this incident led people to describe the mages with terms like creatures of twilight and children of twilight, because some of the mages took forms that were not physically human. This led to the establishment of the three roles, including the wise one, because the wise one was responsible for maintaining traditions that worked to keep the barriers active. So the people believe that they're doing fun holidays, but they don't recognize that these fun holidays are rituals that are keeping the monsters out. While the history of this world is quite grim, I'm hoping that this setting could be something idyllic. The people of the Dales do not work to earn currency, they work for the good of their community. The person in the fields ensures that everyone gets fed. The construction worker upholds infrastructure. Traveling individuals transport goods and information throughout the Dales. No person is meant to be amassing wealth at the expense of their neighbors. That is why the Red Marshal, Overseer, and Wise One are not established as authorities. These are intermediaries between the different industries of the Dales, and they also work to hold each other accountable. So what kind of stories would I tell in the Dales? Well, I would focus more on community and personal conflicts rather than having bombastic fantasy like slaying dragons. So this might include investigations like a missing person or livestock, or attempting to find the cure to a loved one's ailment, or ensuring that a festival can go without being disrupted. So thank you for your time. You are free to share your thoughts, feelings, or facts about your own setting.